It is 33 minutes after the hour. You're listening to the Savage Nation. Give me 15 minutes and I'll give you America. Right now I have I don't know how to say it, a fellow talk show host by the name of Laura Ingraham. But if she's a woman, could she still be a fellow talk show host is what I'm trying to figure out. Laura, you're a linguist. Can you be a fellow talk show host if you're a woman?
Gosh, maybe. Well, in these day and age, anyone can be anything, right? Gender doesn't really mean anything.
So wait, you're a
Right.
Okay, let's not go there. But what would you say linguistically, since you speak Russian fluently? I was impressed when you're out here in the Bay Area a number of years ago. We went to a Japanese restaurant and a group of people were speaking Russian. How fluently you spoke Russian. How did you learn Russian so well?
Давайте говорить по-русски. Только. I learned it in the Soviet Union when I was in college, but I took it from 8th grade, believe it or not, in a public school in Connecticut that was a kind of a magnet school for languages. So
didn't you adopt one of your beautiful children from Russia?
Two of my beautiful children from Russia, and one from Guatemala. My two boys are from Russia. I got them in under the wire from from Putin because of course he's now blocked all the
you got the most beautiful children. I remember you
outrage, and I'm fighting
it. Your kids are beautiful. I love your kids.
Thanks.
Laura, so you're doing radio. You're on Fox News. You're around all of my enemies. No, I'm just joking. I'm not saying that. You're doing well. You're doing well. You're one of the few people. Actually, you're the only woman I know of who survived in talk radio.
Well, it's look, you're like ripping it up all over the country. I mean, no matter where I travel, I hear you, and I hear people talking about your show. And I think what I see from the best people in the business is, and I've learned it over the years, and it took me a while to learn it, I think, is that funny is always better than political. I mean, I'm political. Politics is important, but life is much more than that. And I agree.
I said on my show that Obama.
You're such a smash.
And I said Obama, Harry Reid, and Congress are not the sun, the moon, and the stars. I mean, they're important, but there's other planets, there are other galaxies out there. We have to talk about other things.
Right. I mean, and look, if you're religious, if you have faith, I mean, we're here for a very short period of time, and I answer to a higher power. I don't answer to these clowns in Washington. I mean, I happen to live in the Washington area, but I mean, if this is the center of your daily life, then it's a really frustrating and probably
okay. Well, you're a devout Christian, and I've been talking about the Pope and his economic Marxism, which seems to be coming out on a regular basis. And I wonder how you feel about that. I mean, you're a devout Christian, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a Roman Catholic, and of course that means I'm a Christian. And look, the Pope is the vicar of Christ on earth. That's what we as Catholics believe, and that's what I believe. It doesn't mean that everything the Pope says is dogma, or that we have to believe it, or that we have to agree with it. And a number of things that the Pope has said on non-church teachings, I obviously don't agree with. And
he said he's railed against capitalism, income disparity, and the message is very much that of a Peronista in South America from when he was a young man.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Jesuit, so he comes from that tradition. But I think that we always have to remember that he did kind of shut down the liberation theology, in his own country, and he's I think a lot of the times when we hear the things that he says, they're a lot of the times they're out of context. We don't have the right translation. He doesn't speak English, and it's pulled on.
All right. Well, look, I know you want to, look, you're a Catholic and a devout one at that, and I respect that deeply. But I'm wondering how a pope can go from religion to politics so seamlessly without understanding that most people would rather that a pope talk about the Bible from a moralistic point of view rather than from an economic point of view. That's more or less what I'm asking. But let's move on, because this is not funny. Now we're going from funny to not even serious. This is plottingly, let's say, dangerous for us to do. How about the Bill Clinton story? You heard about the Tom Sizemore allegations?
That he was looking for the chicks for Bill?
Well, he says that if you haven't heard the sound, you should play it on your show tomorrow. It's awesome. Sound where Tom Sizemore, whoever he is, says that he was dating Elizabeth Hurley, and then Clinton saw her and wanted her number. He gave it to him, and that the dialogue, we have the tape of it. It's amazing stuff. And the question was, will this affect Hillary's campaign? And I said, no, it'll only make women like her more. You agree with that?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to have any effect on Hillary's campaign. I mean, I think if Republicans start going down the Monica Lewinsky road and start seizing upon those old narratives, I just think that's not going to work. I mean, I think.
All right. So what will work? Tell me what will work for this Republican Party that we're all so nervous about.
Yeah, I mean, the Republican Party. I mean, I think you can count on like one hand how many people actually speak for the American worker, the American middle class, people who are stuck in jobs that pay the same wages 10 years in a row or lower, given the standard of living. So I think we need someone who actually speaks to those people, not someone who speaks to the global bull and the absurd globalist philosophy, which is done.
Well, I had a Texas congressman on last week, Culberson, who right on this show said that he's on a very powerful appropriations committee, and he said he can stop executive orders by cutting off funding. And people really loved that interview because it gave us hope that there's actually a way to bypass this man's attempt to do end runs around Congress. I hope he's right about that.
Right, and I think people want, Michael, a fighter. People want to think that you care. It's not that you just care about them. You understand that for the vast majority of the people who are working or who are out of work, want to work, or are working three jobs to pay the bills, these people feel like there is no one in Washington who gives a darn about them, who has a clue about how to make their life better, and who's going to do anything about it. And so if someone comes along and speaks to their concerns, stops getting us involved in these stupid wars that just deplete our resources and make us weaker, stop with this absurd addiction to so-called free trade that cripples our industrial base, which we've seen over the years, and stops with this nonsense that everyone who breaks our laws should be rewarded with either a path to citizenship or a path to in-state tuition. I mean, you speak to those issues, and you also have an optimistic pro-American view. I think you can turn politics on its head in America. But
Laura, you live in Washington, D.C. You are around politicians much more often than I am. I never meet one. I don't even know what they look like. The only politicians in the Bay Area are Nancy Pelosi, Barbara Boxer, and Dianne Feinstein. And frankly, thank God I never run into them. But you must run into politicians. Are they exactly as we fear?
Well, I mean, I think there are people out there like Jeff Sessions who makes a difference. I mean, I think there are people on certain issues who really are trying to buck the establishment. But as we speak, Michael, there is a movement to thrust Jeb Bush back into the center of American politics.
Oh, God. Another dynasty? I thought that TV series ended in the 60s.
Oh, no. Where's Crystal Carrington? And remember that? That was fun. Remember Joan Collins would always...
Wait, so if this goes on, you mean after Hillary's president for 8 years, her daughter runs for another 8 years, and then and then Bush's nephew runs for 8 years after that?
No. It's just... my question is, this is not personal about these people. I mean, they're nice people. It's not personal. But what is he going to say the first time someone in the Clinton campaign pushes someone to ask him, what were the big mistakes of your brother's presidency? Why did we leave the country weaker, more in debt, with America absolutely dead set against getting into any more of these wars?
And why did your brother, Mr. Bush, take out the Republican Guard and kill Saddam Hussein, who was our greatest let us say, ally against Iran? When you think about that, I wrote it in Liberalism is a Mental Disorder 8 years ago. I said if they take out Saddam and the Republican Guard, we're making a huge error because the bigger winner is going to be Iran. Now, how come I could figure that out and the State Department couldn't and the military couldn't?
No, and Michael, I mean, again, it's not personal. People think it's about personality. It's not about This is about our country. We are losing it day by day. It's not about xenophobia. It's not about being anti-immigrant. Our economic vitality, our hope as a people, our freedom, our basic liberties are being eroded by an ever-ballooning government that I'm sitting in the middle of right now. It just seems to expand out from Washington into Maryland, Virginia,